Here we are, live in the ninth inning. After a dagger of a bottom of an eighth inning, where they ended up scoring 2 runs. We're down 2-0. Mustering just 1 hit today, boys. It's been a rough day at the plate offensively. Rough day.
It's one of those days that I think I wrote down in my notes, maybe in the 5th inning. It's going to be one of those days. Unfortunately, it's one of those that the Reds fans just know way too well. Just they look like they don't have any fight. They look like they're just, not even as the game went on, it looked like the at-bats didn't even look competitive. We were getting weak ground outs, pop-ups, strikeouts. It's unfortunate. Let's hope that we can get something here in the 9th inning.
No doubt.
I'm talking like the game's over already, but
right. Let's beat up Daniel Palencia here one time and see if we can't ruin his day.
We are
Matty Ice down 0-2. Tell me if you've seen this one before.
Yeah.
Come on, Matt.
Matt McLean down 2-2 or 0-2 with Palencia pitching. 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, and here's the pitch.
All right.
Fouled away. All right. Welcome in, everybody. Please like the stream. We need as many likes as we can to try to help us.
Likes
here.
for runs. Likes for runs.
How about just a hit? How
Likes
about we just
for a
get somebody
hit.
to second base?
There you go. Let's
Jeez.
start small. Speaking of needing a hit, there's nobody more due in our lineup than this guy. So it'd be nice to get him on base and get at least something started here.
What's
I think
crazy?
There's a lot of people in that category.
This is his only his 3rd at bat. That's how putrid the offense has been.
Run into each other or something.
One down.
One down. Matt McLean flies out to center field. Flipping over to the top here. Let's see if TJ can get something going. Made Ben Brown look like an all-star today, boys. It was, like you say, just working efficient, not great at bats. 9 strikeouts, I think is what he ended up with. It was
9. Yep.
Yeah, 9. Tough to watch, man.
Yeah, I had it on the radio, and it didn't sound like Lodolo had his best stuff, but it sounded like he was just fighting through it, and he just managed to keep him scoreless.
Yeah, we'll get to it with Lodolo, but 6 scoreless.
Yeah, you can't beat it, but
especially against this lineup. Would have liked to give him any amount of offensive, just backbone.
Yeah, something to work with. He seemed to be the grinder today when our offense wasn't, because you could tell he didn't have his best stuff and his breaking ball just kind of wasn't there today, but he was grinding through it, bats left and right, getting himself out of trouble. Yeah. So it was nice to see him grind through it. Just wish he could have got some help on the other side.
1-2 on Friedl. Just need base runners.
Come on, TJ. Keep leading us. Popped him up.
Oh, man.
Nope.
What a catch.
Did he catch
it?
He
didn't
caught
look
that.
Wow.
I don't know. You
Show
tell me
the
that didn't hit the
replay.
net?
Show
it?
the replay.
Come
So
on,
did
Tito.
I.
Replay it. I mean, come on. What are we doing here?
No, he missed
Yeah,
it.
definitely he
Whew.
did not catch
Yeah.
that.
Okay, I was getting
He
ready to
sold
say.
it well, I'll tell you that.
Well, he came
Sure
up with
did.
it though, like, yeah, I had it the whole time. Yeah.
Come on now. My favorite's
All right,
the Cubs fans booing this. I was like, come on now.
Right, yeah. Yeah, you've got to have a net around that monstrosity of a field. We were talking about it before we actually went live. There's the amount of room that down the foul lines is just atrocious. I have no idea how that's a big league ballpark when you can't even put your footprint on the inside and still get to the wall. It's crazy.
I know. I love it. They're angry, but come on now.
I love it. Make it hurt real bad. Hit one out of the park here.
Yeah.
Or just get on base.
Or just get on
I'll
base.
take that. I'll take get on base. Okay.
Yeah, I'm not sure if getting one out of the park's even going to even be possible today. The wind
Not
is
even
just nasty.
I know. 101, Palencia.
Yeah, on the broadcast earlier, they said Ellie really hit one hard, and it just died in center field, not even close to the warning track.
Get down. Get down.
Of
Course he'd hit it to him. Of course it was him.
That's a really nice play in center.
That's
Dang.
kind of what I. Yeah, he is.
Now game comes down to Santiago Espinal. You think we pinch hit
Imagine that.
Fraley? We pinch hit Fraley here?
I would.
Can we do
Pinch
something?
hit anybody.
Anybody?
Pinch hit anybody. Yeah. What is our bench tonight?
Oh. Hang
Well,
on. I think
at
we gotta
least
move.
Fraley's
Yeah,
there.
Fraley's coming up.
And
They
then if
took him
we,
off.
by some miracle, tie the game and have to go to the 10th, we put the hamster wheel at third base.
No one else can play
Oh,
third.
here we go. Jake Fraley. Come on now.
Come on, Ray.
There we
Remember
go.
when you
Jake
said Lux
Fraley.
couldn't play third, and then the next game he's playing third base.
Wow.
Yeah. And we go out and sign a mysterious infielder all of a sudden. That felt like hey, here's another infielder if you need him.
Man, 101 at the top of the zone. It's tough. Likes, everyone. Likes, please. Something, anything. Give the Reds some life here. At least get Ellie to the plate. Ugh. Now with that pitch.
Yeah. Come on, boys. There went that.
Okay.
Losing edition, man. A losing edition. These are never fun to talk about, especially with the putrid offense we got. But let's do a show on the other side of this, boys. What do you say?
Sounds good to me.
Let's do it.
High drive, left center field, racing back to the Laurel Bourgeois. The Reds are National League Central Division champions. In the air, left center field. Did he? He did! He did! Reds win! Line to right field. Genius, the first run ever with 4 home runs.
Welcome back, everybody. Thanks for joining us for another episode of Chatterbox Reds, sponsored by your friends at DSC, Deep South Commodities. Joined by two of the best in the business, Mike Hart and Ricky Logan. Mike and Ricky, it was a tough day at the ballpark as our Reds take a 2-0 loss, getting shut out for what is the 9th time this season. It was a pitcher's duel for a lot of it, man, and it kind of fell apart in the back end. But tough day to be a Reds fan, man. What are you guys' overall thoughts on today's game?
Yeah, pretty tough to see the offense here. We had some tough conditions, but that really didn't stop. I guess we saw both offenses struggle with this, and it really wanted to see the Reds maybe show some fight, especially after a good win last night or yesterday afternoon. And unfortunately, that's not what we got. We got something that was pretty hapless, unfortunately, for the offense. Something that Reds fans, unfortunately, kind of know too well. I wrote down in my notes in the fourth inning. I was like, it looks like one of those days. And I think every person watching understands what that means, because we've seen this way too much of just like offense that really didn't even pose a threat. We didn't even get a person to second base. So pretty tough. I don't know. Ricky, what are your thoughts? Maybe I'm just being too crazy, too negative here.
TJ Friedl extended his hitting streak, but
Yeah.
Hey, a positive note.
He's the only one that extended his
Attaboy,
hitting
Ricky. Attaboy.
yeah, if I'll find something, Paul, I'll do my best, Nick Kirby.
There you
Yeah.
go.
Other than that, I mean, just Ellie hit a ball. I was looking it up just while you were talking. In the 4th inning, he flew out the center field it was 102.6 off the bat, and it died at 322 feet. I mean, it just nothing, and just not being able to put the ball in the gaps. And then, funny enough, it comes down to Espinal at the last at bat. They pinch hit for him, but it would have been Espinal had he not been pinch hit. And it's just, I don't know, just a brutal day. Nick Lodolo looked pretty good. He didn't have his best stuff, but he fought hard, and he gave us 6 really good innings. And I was really, really happy to see that, because me and you talked about that yesterday, Corey, about getting solid innings from the starters, just because we know that our bullpen's taxed right now. And you can't always get the Abbott performance from yesterday, but if you can get 6 innings, 7 innings out of a starter like that, it really sets you up well, especially when you shut them out.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. It was another up and down performance from our offense. I think we had 2 guys that didn't get a hit yesterday and turned around today and only get 1 hit, period. So it's another up and down series for the Reds. Hopefully we can come out and get the bats out tomorrow and at least give Nick Martinez a little bit of support. But I know there's not a lot to talk about in the box score recap, Mike, but can you give us your best shot here?
Sure. Today at Wrigley Field, though, if you didn't hear, the wind was blowing in. I don't know if you knew that, but the wind was blowing in from left field. They showed a couple graphics up on there that it was knocking the calculation, it was knocking hits to left field down almost 28 feet. Man, the wind they kept showing the flags blowing in. The balls were, even certain fly balls were kind of hard to track today. So, and then faced with that adversity, the Reds didn't seem to do much with it. The Cubs started with a opener, Drew Pomeranz, a left-handed pitcher, and he, in 9 pitches, dispatched of the top 3 Reds players. Then Nick Lodolo came in and actually, was a little rocky with his command, gave up a double to Happ, and then Kyle Tucker got hit by a pitch, but then he got Seiya Suzuki to pop up, and then Carson Kelly grounded into a double play, leaving PCA on deck, and that was the end of the 1st inning. And then the Cubs brought in their bulk pitcher, Ben Brown, who we made look like Sandy Koufax today. He recorded 10 strikeouts, and there really isn't much to report from then all the way to the 6th inning, because both offenses were not really doing much. The Reds, you mentioned the 4th inning with that Ellie hit. He had that over 100-mile-an-hour fly out. Tyler Stephenson also had an over 100-mile-an-hour fly out. And then in the bottom of the inning, Suzuki and Carson Kelly both had over 100-mile-an-hour line outs and fly outs, and the ball was just dying. There was nothing going on. Lodolo seemed to struggle his command a little bit, but really dialed in and got 6 scoreless innings. And then especially in the 6th, where it looked a lot like the first, Happ doubled, and then Kyle Tucker struck out, but then Suzuki got on, and then Kelly grounded into a double play. So we were getting picked up by our defense? Could our offense respond? Answer is no. That brings us all the way to the bottom of the 8th inning, where Graham Ashcraft comes in and Ian Happ, or we leads off the inning with a walk to Shaw, and then Ian Happ's fielder's choice gives us an out, but we get I think we got Kyle Tucker singled, and then the Seiya Suzuki play where this ball was hit just kind of barely going to the edge over in right field and somehow landed fair in front of Will Benson, and that scored the deciding run of making it 1-0, and Happ scored from second base there. Dansby Swanson then also left a fielder's choice where Ellie picked the ball up and didn't deliver a strike to first base. That drove in a second run, making it 2-0 Cubs. And unfortunately, in the bottom of the 9th, the Reds could not do anything with it, and that led us to our final score of 2-0. To lose on a double that barely falls in there and a infield single feels pretty disheartening. What do you guys think?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Will Benson got himself into a rock and a hard place over there on that fly ball. There is absolutely zero room to make a catch right there, and he slid up one for safety too, because I think he thought it was going to go foul, like every other foul ball seemed to going down that line today. But a series of unfortunate events. But that one defensive play, you can't put it on that when you've got a putrid offense like that. I saw my guy Optimistic John in the chat already bringing it up. Why not try to bunt? Why not try to make stuff happen? We just didn't seem to have any aggressiveness whatsoever today. And I know the word small ball is a cuss word in this day and age, but anything, give me anything, try something. We got enough speed in the lineup today where we could try something, do something just to get anything going, because Lodolo's throwing way too well to give him absolutely nothing, man. It was very frustrating to see, and I don't say I feel bad. It's a Major League Baseball player, but that play with Will Benson right there, man, that's a rock in a hard place. That's a tough
man. Yeah, you bring up the bunt. And, I'm all for trying to shake things up. We only had 2 times where we even had a runner on first base, right? Like, there's only one person in the lineup, probably our hottest hitter, that I even trust to try to bunt for a hit, right? And that's Friedl. And at this point, it's like he's seeing the ball so well, might as well let him swing away. We didn't even really have opportunities to bunt people over. That's how bad it was today. It was just really, really sad to see. But yeah. That play over in left field, they showed that left field. It's literally, you can't even stand in foul territory there. It's so small. I don't understand how that is something that's safe, something that they're willing to trot out there. It's really frustrating how some tough breaks like that just lead to a Reds loss. So
yeah, I want to give Scott Barlow his due. He walked Pete Crow Armstrong in the 7th. And here we are talking. It was a tie game at the time. It was 0-0. He walks Pete Crow Armstrong. He steals second base, and then he strikes out Swanson, strikes out Horner, and then strikes out Justin Turner, and gets out of the inning. That was huge. I was getting nervous because he's had his moments in those high pressure situations, and Pete Crow Armstrong was really taunting him out there on the base path too. So I want to give him his flowers on that one.
I actually had that one starred too, man, as a big spot in the game. That and our double plays. Ever since Graham Ashcraft got the big double play last night to get us out of the 8th, the double play has seemed to be our best friend. First, 5th, and 6th, just 3 absolutely huge double plays. So credit to our middle infielders, credit to Matt McLean getting the ball out of his glove. That guy's got one of the smoothest transitions in all of baseball, and it's fun to watch. And you just hate to see our defense go unrewarded with the putrid offense again. But what do you do?
So Barlow was kind of all over the place too. He had 19 pitches and only threw 9 strikes. So he threw more balls than strikes and somehow got out of that inning without giving up a run. So sometimes being effectively wild can help. But yeah, that's the bullpen not the issue here. I think they made the pitches to get us out of there and just really couldn't get there.
Absolutely. And like you say, if Benson makes that play, that completely turns that inning around there for Graham Ashcraft. So it's hard to put that on Graham, but
or that just goes foul. It's like to put that on Benson feels so sad, right? Because it's just like that's an impossible play to try to have to make. It's like, hey, run full speed into this brick wall. I know there's some padding there, but like, man, that is
you almost got to have
thing.
super speed, find the wall, and then come back out to it. But there wasn't enough time to do it.
Yeah,
to do
and
all
a
that,
lot of those
especially with that going on.
balls, a lot of those balls were just flying foul. Like if I don't know if like Brantley on the broadcast just kept saying like, the balls, these are major league outfielder, major league defenders, and they're just looking silly out there. Like the balls, 11-mile-an-hour winds, if not faster, and it was just kind of circling and diving balls down. And like you saw the one play, the Cubs, the right fielder, he was going towards a similar spot as Will Benson, and he lost the ball, circled around, lost the ball again, and then the ball ended up foul. I mean, he traveled probably at least 80 to 100 feet trying to get to that ball, and it ended up in the seats. So
yeah, absolutely.
It sucks to put that on Benson, but it was a costly play, but it's just not, you can't really blame him for it either.
You're right. It's hard to blame the guy, and I really felt like that the wind and the sun had a lot to do with Matt McClain losing that ball in the first inning too. That pop up that got over his head. I think he had it. The wind blew it out of his direction, and then he just completely lost it from there. So the wind and sun definitely had an effect on some of the game today. It definitely had an effect on our DSC deep drive of the game.
Boy,
Ricky,
what are we going to do here?
you've brought mention to it a couple of different times, but it's definitely got to be Ellie's ball in the fourth inning that just absolutely died at 322 feet. So deep drive of the day, 102.6 mile an hour off the bat, was a fly out to center field from Ellie De La Cruz, traveling 322 feet. Did have a 29-degree launch angle, so 29-degree launch angle, 102.6 miles an hour off the bat, and it still only traveled 322 feet, if that tells you what you need to know about the wind. But that is our DSC deep drive of the day. Our deep drive of the day is sponsored by Deep South Commodities. DSC is a leader in renewable commodities for biofuel production, specializing in used cooking oil, collection, aggregation, and sales. Visit www.deepsouthcommodities.com for more information. And thanks, as always, to our friends from DSC. Windy day for a pitcher's duel, and it was definitely did not work out in our favor at all today. But you're going to have that, I guess, on some of these big jobs.
Yeah, what did you guys think of Lodolo's performance? Did you, I thought it was a good sign there for him battling through maybe what wasn't his perfect stuff. And yes, I'm sure he was aided by the wind as well. But man, I was impressed. I think I wrote down in my notes, I said that DJ earned his pay today. I think that even Seiya commented on a few times, like that curveball, like the one he hit Tucker with, like wasn't breaking it at all. And then he would come back out in the next inning and all of a sudden he'd be able to rip off a good one. So I just really think that Derek Johnson is in that dugout, maybe with Trevino saying, hey, come on. Hey, let's dial in our mechanics. Let's get it in there. And it was a masterclass to see, hey, I don't have it. I'm still going to work through it and we're going to get it done. And no runs in 6 innings. There's not much else you can ask for from a guy like Lodolo on that one.
Yeah, I'll say it was gritty. That's just a gritty performance. He threw 94 pitches, 56 of them were strikes, and he somehow held them scoreless. Like that's masterclass. All the way around between Trevino calling pitches and Derek Johnson really helping him out too. Because there was a lot, like you said, there was a lot of times where just the pitches weren't moving, and it sucks. But he fought through it, and he still got 5 strikeouts and only walked 2. So that's all you can ask for. It's great.
Absolutely. We got the performance from Lodolo that we were looking for on offense when the bats are struggling. When it's not going well, you need to dig down deep and grind it out. And it seems like Nick Lodolo is able to do that time and time again, to be honest with you, because even Charlie Goldsmith posted on Twitter after he left the ball game, 3.10 ERA, and I still don't feel like we've seen the best Nick Lodolo yet. So that's very exciting as far as that's concerned. And it's nice to know that guys will grind it out when they don't have their best stuff. But no offense equals no wins. You know how that goes. Man,
yeah. When the offense looks like you could play 18 innings and you wouldn't score any runs, it's pretty hard to get anything going there. You were talking about, maybe we get extras, but that I wanted I didn't want extras. It's just like we haven't shown that we can score.
Yeah.
We can score in extras too. The crazy thing is, if we would have gone extras, it would have been the first time we would have had anybody on second base. Is if they gave it to us for free.
The Manford man,
So,
yeah.
you know, that's how it's just, you kind of got to shake your head today. I know there's a lot of people that are very angry, especially since we've seen this a lot, but that sometimes you just got to flush this down flush it, move on to the next day, hope that we can do it. I guess when it comes to the pitching in general, it was to see, we even got it, we got it out of some of our non-top guys today too, right? Barlow and Lyon Richardson comes in a big spot and gets an out there. So, being able to see these guys that got touched up against the Cubs come in and make some good plays is encouraging, hopefully, for us going and winning a rubber game tomorrow.
Yeah, we just got to perform on a rubber game. I think the last time I saw the stats, we were like 3-25 on Sunday rubber matches. And it's just, I don't know. It's just a combination of a lot of things. I don't know. I guess we could talk about it if you want. Just batting order, bullpen rotation. Like we talked about it yesterday, Corey. You get dominant pitching performances, and then the offense just plateaus and sinks, and then it flips. And then, like, I think it was up until today, we had scored 49 runs on our last 7 games, and then we get shut out. And I don't know. I think I've been quiet about it, but I just think it's time to get Espinal out of the 2-hole.
Yeah, it's time to start shaking something up. It feels like when we don't score in that first inning, it's just it might be a long night at the office kind of situation. We're tops in the league. I think we're scoring runs in the first inning. So if we don't get off the schneid, it kind of feels like maybe the next guy up will do it. Maybe the next guy up will do it. And the next thing you know, we're in the bottom of the 8th. We got 1 hit and you haven't got a runner on second base. So I'm completely with you, brother. We're going to have to shake something up in the lineup. That 2-hole just keeps coming up, keeps rearing its ugly head every time. Tonight we end another game with Ellie De La Cruz on the on-deck circle. So, yeah, it's just one of those deals. But I'm not 100% sure what the answer is. I don't know. I don't have all, exactly what the shakeup is, but seeing some of the numbers that they popped up during the broadcast from CES and Wade Miley, those were kind of exciting numbers. So maybe we got a couple options here. We can shake some stuff up in the future when we get some guys healthy.
Yeah. And another frustrating thing is, it's like, this is not the first time we've seen this left-handed opener work against the Reds too, right? We've seen them do this. We've seen other people do this against the Reds. Now, Ben Brown came in and pitched incredible, and we could talk about him a little bit later. But, when you have Friedl, De La Cruz at the top of that lineup facing a lefty, De La Cruz significantly worse against a lefty, it just feels like, if they're going to do this, there needs to be some sort of adjustment offensively for, some sort of adjustment for this left-handed pitcher. Get somebody there that we think is going to face and do well against the left-handed pitching, which is not going to be Ellie, unfortunately. Like, I guess I don't know what chess pieces he has to move around, because it's like, who's your best hitter against left-handed pitching? Well, on the season, it's Espinal, right? But in May, it hasn't been Espinal. So it's like I don't even know what we do. I saw Nick Kirby talking about maybe moving Stephenson up into the 2-hole to face left-handed pitching, especially on a left-handed opener. And then we would get some of our lefties, Lux and Benson, and whoever facing the right-handed bulk reliever. But man, there just needs to be something. It just feels like the Brewers are going to see what just happened here, and they're going to do this. They're going to do this at least once in our next series, right? They're going to say, okay, these guys, if we don't have a left-handed starter going, we're just throwing a left-handed bulk reliever out there, and we're going to take our easy outs, 9 pitches by a guy who is, just a reliever. We're going to take those and turn De La Cruz around, bat him right-handed, and then move to our bulk-handed right-handed pitcher. So it's just like, I don't know, but there needs to be some change move here to keep other teams from continuing to do this.
Yeah, I got some stats pulled up. Batting second, Espinal's batting 200 with a 262 and 242 splits, and that's just not going to cut it when you're not getting on base or hitting the ball. I get it. He's a decent contact, but the bat on the ball guy. But the bat on the ball is not finding anywhere either. And unfortunately, a lot of those bat on the balls have been double plays as well. So I get it. It's difficult because you want McLean to be that guy. McLean is supposed to be that number 2 hitter, but he is just really struggling. I guess the real question is, would Tito want to, I guess, make Ellie mad? Because Ellie wants to bat third. That was the whole decision. Do you move Ellie to say to the 2 hole and just say, hey, this is where I'm putting you, Ellie. You got to just deal with it. And then maybe that gets him going too. And then maybe McLean can figure it out and then you can move it back. But does Tito do that to Ellie? Because, because you want your star player to be happy. But then you have to also think about, at the end of the day, you want your best hitter batting second. And we don't have a best hitter on this team. So we got to mix and match somewhere.
Yeah. See, I think when I read the quotes about Ellie wanting to bat third, I don't think of it as like, hey, I'm demanding I must bat third. I don't think of it that way. I think that Tito is fine batting him third, and he's like, oh, if my guy wants to bat third, I'll let him bat there. I don't think they're like if Tito comes to him and says, hey, we're going to try to mix things up. We're going to move you to the 2 hole. We're going to move you down, whatever it is. I think that he did that. Ellie would agree. I don't think Ellie would pitch a fit. You know what I'm saying? So I think there's a lot of overblown of like, oh, we got to keep him happy and all that kind of stuff. I think that maybe is a little bit overblown here. I think that if Tito, part of this is Tito doesn't want to move him. And so I think if Tito did, there would be something, but Tito seems fine with moving him to the 3 hole. My only thought about moving him to the 2 hole is now we have lefty for a late inning lefty that is going to be able to turn Ellie around and pitch to Friedl, and then Ellie right-handed, a worse-handed spot. So I get why we're trying to put somebody in the 2 hole that hits left-handed pitching, because we saw this in I forget which series it was, but they brought in a right-handed batter or right-handed pitcher to face Espinal. He faces and gets Espinal out, and then the pitch comes to Ellie, and Ellie hits a home run, right? So it's like, if we have a lefty that is willing to do that, and I guess Espinal is the case, maybe Stephenson is that person, then I'm okay with that, the 1, 2, 3 spots, right? Because then we can have Ellie facing right-handed pitching because there's a right-hander that scares off left-handed pitching. It just seems that Espinal in May, he's batting .231, only a 54 WRC plus in May. Like, he's just really struggling. And so now they're not scared of it. They're not scared of him. And so what they're doing is they're saying, all right, I know you hit lefties. All right, but we'll take our chances against you because, we like it better in our matchup against Ellie De La Cruz behind you. And I think that's a signal where it's like, you got to get somebody else in there. You got to get somebody else that's going to give some protection to De La Cruz.
And that's exactly it. You want to keep them happy, but you also want to keep them protected. And right now we just don't have the protection. They're coming at my guy because they know they can. I kind of like what Eric brought up yesterday, hitting Ellie De La Cruz in the 2 hole as a right-handed hitter, because he doesn't hit more. He hits more for average and less power, that sort of thing, and keep him in the 3 hole. Keep him in the 3 hole when he is hitting left-handed. So, I mean, that's a possibility as far as not necessarily keeping him happy, but giving him an opportunity to hit the 3 hole and also shaking up our lineup when we need him to. So I don't disagree with you. There's something's going to have to happen there. We're just going to have to get more production out of it. That's all there is to it. But his glove is so good. It makes it such a good defense. He's got to be in the lineup somewhere, somehow, some way. So when you look over and your bench is Connor Joe and Hampson and Austin Wins, it makes it hard to come up with some sort of scenario where things are going to change without having the same guys doing the same things.
And I know we've gotten on Tito about his lineups, but I think he has shown he's willing to move a little bit, right? McLean's not batting second anymore. So, maybe it's waiting too long. I would have really appreciated Espinal not grounding into 5 double plays this week, it feels like. But, maybe this is enough for him to say, okay, we need to rethink this. It's just unfortunate that it seems to be coming so slow.
Yeah, and statistically, Espinal's best place with more time is batting 5th. He's batting .304, batting 5th. Drop him down a little bit, maybe move him to the 5 hole, see what happens. He's batting .304, batting 5th with a .435 slugging. So maybe try it.
I also want to bring in this. So I think Ben Brown actually did pitch pretty well. As you know, having watched him last week and then this week, like he pitched significantly better this week against the Reds. I don't know how much of it was the wind coming in. When you throw that high spin fastball at the top of the zone, you're going to get a lot of pop-ups or fly balls, and those just died out there today. But he looked way more under control. Maybe that's because he didn't have to pitch the first inning, right? So I don't know it. Yes, the Reds offense was not very good, but you gotta say, I think Ben Brown pitched pretty well as well out there. Anytime you strike out 9, only walk 1, and only give up 1 hit over 6 innings, that's pretty good. So I wanna put that out there too. He did seem to have his good stuff today.
Oh, absolutely. And working efficiently. I mean, we're a half hour into this show. It's only 5 o'clock. So he got us through a game pretty dang quick. So it's hard not to give Ben Brown his flowers. And was it the first inning that he imploded in the last time we put up a bunch of runs in the first inning there? So
I think he threw like 7 straight balls out of the chute and walked the first 2 guys, and we got runs on. And
yeah, exactly. So he was able to avoid that first inning catastrophe and just got going from there. So it's hard to think that other teams won't take advantage of that same philosophy, like you were saying, have that left-handed opener just to flip us around a little bit. But hopefully the Reds can come up with an answer. So you can learn from our mistakes and go from there. But like you say, the offensive struggles and the poor conditions are tough, and maybe we're getting a little bit too far into the weeds on the lineup thing after we scored 6 runs and how many? What'd you say? 49 runs in 7 games or whatever it was.
Yeah.
So let's just hope it was a bad day at the ballpark and we can shake it off and wake up tomorrow and just put it on them and leave Chicago with a better taste in our mouth than what we did the last time we had to play these guys in a 3-game series.
Yeah, let's hope so. Let's hope that we can finally, string together some hits and put up some fight. It just feels like this offense, the moment there's any adversity, just kind of curls. Like turtles up. And today the adversity was the wind blowing in their face. It's typical. We see that because they can't come back from being down in the 6th or the 7th inning, right? What are they, 0 for 22 or something like that? They get any form of adversity, they can't seem to, do anything about it. And today that adversity hit them in the first inning with the wind blowing in their face, and they just kind of rolled over. And it's pretty disappointing to see, unfortunately. Something that we've seen far too often.
Yeah, it's just been a weird weather year for our guys anyway, between the fog and Colorado and rainouts and double headers and that sort of stuff. We just can't seem to catch a break with Mother Nature sometimes, and doesn't seem to work out in our favor either. So
we have a righty tomorrow. I think Jameson Taillon's pitching. We've talked about order. Let's build what we would like that lineup to be. Ricky, what do you think that lineup you would like to see in that lineup against a right-handed pitcher starting tomorrow? How would you line it up? Write it in.
I would go Friedl leading off, and then I would put Lux in the 2 hole, and then Ellie batting third because I don't think they're going to move him, and then I'd probably go Stephenson, Steer, Espinal, maybe just he's going to be in the lineup because of his defense. He's going to play third, and then Benson. I guess Fraley.
No McLean.
So, yeah, I guess he would be the 9 hole. Yeah.
Yeah. I guess if you got Benson, Lux, and Fraley in there, that means one of them is playing DH.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So Lux is probably DHing Benson in right, or Benson in left, Fraley in right, Espinal at third, and then McLean at second, batting 9th.
Yeah.
What about you, Corey? What do you think?
I'm kind of right on with that one, to be honest with you. I love Gavin Lux against a right-handed pitcher. Keep Ellie in the 3 hole, hitting from his power side, and I like to pop in the end of the lineup. I'm almost not against flirting with trying Will Benson in the 2 hole against right-handed pitching too. I mean, the guy's fast, the guy's electric. He can provide a spark when you need to. Obviously, gives you a little bit more pop in the 2 hole. So shake it up, but I like the Gavin Lux approach. I wouldn't mind seeing if Gavin Lux is in the 2 hole tomorrow. I'm going to feel really good about the situation. So,
yeah, that's tough. The thing that I struggle with putting Lux there is you have lefty, and then not good against lefties, Ellie De La Cruz. So say it's the top of the 7th inning, Reds are down 1, or it's tied, it's 1-1 or something like that. It's top of the order, Friedl, Lux, De La Cruz. They bring in a lefty, and that is basically the top of order is basically neutralized. You know what I'm saying? Maybe you pinch hit Connor Joe. Like it's like you don't really have a right-handed bat to be able to pinch hit for Lux there. And, that gets really tough from the top of your lineup to just completely get mowed down by Genesis Cabrera or Drew Pomeranz in the top of the 7th. So that's where it's tough. Yeah.
With that lineup, you'll have a Jose Trevino on the bench or something like that to go into a pinch hit situation. I see exactly what you're saying, though. Definitely shorthands you, and if something happens that we go into extra innings, then you're in big trouble too. So I understand.
Austin Wins. Maybe you pinch hit Austin Wins there.
Yeah, he hadn't had an at bat since May the 6th or something like that.
Still on the team.
Good Lord, man.
But
Good
still
Lord.
there.
Yeah. That it's tough. I mean, this is part of why we're hamstrung here is because guys that we were kind of counting on to hit against left-handed pitching, CES and Noel V. Marte, right, are injured. So, and frankly, I think everyone had the expectation that McLean would be better too. I know he's batting 9th, and there's not really anything like we don't really have a good replacement for him because he's playing passable defense. I mean, he dropped that ball in center field today, but turned 2 great double plays that really mattered. Things that India, I don't know necessarily does. It's just like we don't have another option there. So right now it feels just like, hey, put McLean at 9, let him struggle and get there, and we'll just have to deal with what comes there, unfortunately.
I'll say this for Trace Fowler too. If we could get somebody out or get something out of our highest paid player too, and actually expected Jamin Candelario to have a halfway decent season, but yeah, I don't even want to think about that guy right now. It just fires me up, man.
I think I'd be all right if I never see him bat again for the Reds. I don't know how that's going to work, but like I've already completely put that out. It's just like he's not going to contribute to this team in any way. So that's how I feel about him, but I don't know. Maybe we'll see him back again because he can play 3rd and 1st, and so we don't have to carry Garrett Hamster Wheel. So I don't know. We'll see what ends up being that way. Let's just say he's been on the IL for a long time for just a sore back. So I guess right. I don't know. I don't have any insight there, but right. I just don't see him contributing at all for the Reds anymore.
He's kind of out of sight, out of mind for me, but it was just kind of a little reminder that we're still paying this dude for absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. And man, it just fires me up. But after they popped up the graphics on CES during the ball game or whatever, I kind of took a dive into his at bats from last night, put the ball in play all 4 times, had 2 doubles, a single, 2 balls where he had an out that went 357 feet. He had a double that went 357 feet, 101 miles an hour off the bat. So 4 hard hit balls, put the ball in play every time. Every single time he had 2 strikes on him. So he's hitting the ball well with 2 strikes. So nothing but good signs from CES. So hopefully we can get that ball rolling a little bit. It'd be nice to have his help on the corner infields for sure. At least have its power in the lineup from a DH perspective.
Yeah, it's like a tough balance that they have to do, because it seems like this, when you have games like this, you're just like, we need something different, anything different from this offense, somebody to give us some semblance of a pulse. But then you have what happened with Tyler Stephenson, right? To me, it's pretty clear Tyler Stephenson was not fully back. Like he needed more time to get his swing back. Like when he came back, I think he had a 0-for-4 strikeout game, right? And then it took a couple weeks for him to then round into form. And now we're seeing last year's Tyler Stephenson, which is just great. But it's just like, what do? Do you bring him back if he's not ready just because maybe he is, but then he struggles? Or do you leave him there and let the offense in Cincinnati struggle? It's not a decision that I would like to have to make, because I think we even saw this with Hayes when he came back last time, right? He came back and struggled a little bit and then turned it on and was able to become the hitter that we've all loved this year. But just these rehab stints, it's almost like we're cutting them short, because it's like, we can't even get any offense. We have these games where we don't look like anything, but then they come up and they struggle. So I don't know how long you keep CES there. It's pretty tough to feel like, if he's hitting 4 balls, he's hitting them all hard, that, maybe he is ready to come on back. But, that's just what you feel. I feel like there's a pretty easy move too. I think you just send Connor Joe down, right? I think that's your 1-for-1 replacement there. You have, with Fraley up here, you have outfield depth. So first base goes between Steer and CES. I think there's your move that you make there. So I don't know. I don't know what you guys think on when CES will be coming back up to the big leagues here.
I think it'll be sooner than later, just based off of him yesterday, really just crushing the ball. And I think he had 3 hits. It was 3 for 4. He's they just released their lineup for Louisville just about 30 minutes ago, and they got him batting second, playing first base. So that's something to keep an eye out on for today. And then our good friend Reese Hines is batting cleanup, playing center. So that's another thing too. And Jacob Hurtubise is batting 9th for Louisville, and he's just been he's going to be a guy that you non-tender. He's a waste of a 40-man spot. I just don't know what you do. I mean, they'll have some decisions to make this offseason. And then CES, I think he's clearly he's going to be our first baseman. I just worry about him staying healthy. I hate saying that just because it feels like there's a lot of our key guys that we're worried about long term staying healthy, and that's him, Matt McClain, and Noel Marte right now. Just that's our future, and that's the guys that we're really keying in on for the next 5 years, and they just have been not available. Like your best ability is your availability, and so far Ellie's been the only one available out of the core.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, there's definitely tough decisions to be made coming up as far as when you bring him up and how long you let him cook down there. So we're not rushing guys in and having them take another IL stint 2.5 weeks down the road, like we're running into with Austin Hayes. We were talking before we went live, another tough decision coming up with Wade Miley. Wade Miley went 5 innings, 6 hits, 2 earned runs on 87 pitches in Louisville yesterday. And from what Mike was saying, I think we've got a decision to make by tomorrow on
June 1.
Wade.
Yeah.
Yep. So what's your thoughts there?
I don't know, man. It feels like
Where does he go?
Well, I think it's like you either have to, I'm not sure if it's call him up or put him on the roster. I'm not sure which one that is, but either way, the Reds have to make a decision that basically is guaranteeing him some sort of, stability here. And if they don't, either call him up or put him on the roster, I'm not sure what it is, then he can basically opt to go into free agency. The idea being, it's like they put these things in their clauses, like if they feel like they've pitched well enough to that some other team will sign them and give him a major league spot, then he wants the ability to be able to do that. Now, I don't know. We're in an interesting spot where the starting pitching has been pretty great. We don't have, I don't think there's too many people that are signaling, hey, we need him. Maybe you put him as a long man in the bullpen, but I really don't see a spot for him offensively. Now it will come down to whether Wade Miley feels that he can get signed on the open market, because I think that he could still opt in and just stay in the Reds minor leagues. But like I don't know. I don't think he's shown enough, and the Reds have enough of a need in the pitching staff for them to make a spot for him at the moment. What do you guys think?
When you brought up the bullpen, that's kind of that was my only thought with where you're going to put Wade Miley. You're not going to replace any of our 5 starters with Wade Miley, not the way they're throwing the ball right now. So a long reliever, because Sam is struggling and we don't really have a solid left-hander out of the bullpen, would be about my only option. But whether or not that's going to sit well with Wade and work out, I just seriously doubt it. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with Wade. It's
it feels like Wade Miley and Suter are kind of redundant then, right? Isn't that kind of how Suter is for you? So
yeah, that makes
I don't know.
sense.
Yeah, he's like good depth, and I'm glad that we signed him to something like this. I just, we've been pretty fortunate on the injury side that we haven't needed him. So I don't know. What do you think, Ricky?
Yeah, I tend to agree with you. I don't. There's nobody in this rotation that he's taken their spot. He hasn't even performed well enough to say that. His ERA is almost 6 in AAA. He threw 5 innings yesterday, 6 hits, 2 runs, 3 walks, 2 strikeouts. 53 of his 87 pitches were strikes. But there's nowhere in the rotation. And could they maybe make a trade? Would anybody be interested in a trade? Because you hate to lose, because pitchers are a dime a dozen, but they're also worth a lot of money. And if you could get something for him, maybe, but you don't. You'd have to
I don't know who's trading
40
for a
man.
guy.
So who would you even? I guess the 40-man spot would be from Diaz getting traded. that would open
Right.
up the 40-man spot
I don't
for
think
him.
they've replaced that one yet.
Mhm.
Maybe they haven't announced it yet because maybe that's what they're waiting for. And just maybe the deal is he has to be on the 40-man to
I don't know.
the contract, for the option opt-out.
When it comes to a trade, nobody's trading for a guy that's going to be a free agent potentially the next day.
Right, yeah.
Nobody's giving up. And it's not like you designate for assignment where they got to go through waivers and all that stuff. He just can opt for free agency, I'm pretty sure. So I don't know. I would love to get something for Wade Miley, but I don't think there's any team out there that would do something like that. So
just spitballing ideas, man.
Yeah, I know. I guess what we can hope for. I like the idea of Wade Miley in a depth role in, like, if we need him in August or something like that. I don't love him. Like, if we're legitimately trying to make the playoffs here, I don't like Wade Miley being a part of that. Like, I think enough of that. This game has passed him by for him to be there. I think he can fill in well in the dog days, but I'm not sure if he's somebody that I'm trying to count on for a playoff push.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard to put any stock in that, especially when you've got guys like Chase Petty and Chase Burns and those guys coming up too. It's hard to put any stock in a seasoned veteran like Wade Miley. I mean, no disrespect to Wade whatsoever, but I just don't see him being part of a playoff push if we are headed that direction. But we're gonna have to get some consistency offensively before we even think about doing any of that stuff, man, because it's just been so up and down offensively. It's hard to even think about the board playoffs. You know what I mean? I almost feel like Jim Moore playoffs, but.
Well, before we get out of here, do we want to talk a little bit about Reds MILB? I know that's normally Nick's thing, but I know Ricky filled in with the Chatterbox article about Reds MILB. Ricky, do you have some nuggets that you want to share us about last night? Because I know that all the other teams are playing like at 7 today, so none of the other ones have kicked off. I
can go over a little bit from yesterday, and I can talk a little bit about today because there are some things that are happening. But yesterday, Chattanooga won 1-0. I think it was I just lost it. It was Ethan O'Donnell hit a home run yesterday. It was the only offense for the whole game. Chattanooga had
deep drive of the day.
Yeah. And then Daytona, they beat Jupiter 6-3. Louisville lost 13-4 to Toledo. Like, that was Wade Miley's performance. He held him scoreless up until the third inning. And then the ACL Reds, they lost 6-2 to the ACL Cubs. Not a whole lot of offense for the Reds on that one. Tyson Lewis went 1 for 3. Cam Collier went 0 for 3 with 3 strikeouts. Shingen Lin didn't play, but he pitched the night before. And then today for our Reds MILB, we talked about Louisville a little bit with CES batting second, playing first. And then the one that I'm really watching is Chattanooga. Chase Burns is pitching tonight. So that'd be, if you want some excitement for the day, go tune into the Chattanooga game. He's 4-1 with the 1.86 ERA.
I like that. Let's cleanse the taste of this game out of our mouth and watch the most dominant pitcher in Double-A go.
And then the ACL Reds played today. They went final. They won 2-1 over the ACL Diamondbacks, and Cam Collier went 3 for 4. So looking better. He built off yesterday. He went over 3 with 3 strikeouts, and he gets 3 hits the next day. So that's what you want to see.
Nice.
A little bounce back. Sounds like you might fit right in with these Cincinnati Reds.
Inconsistency is the name of the game, that's for sure.
Ain't that the truth, no doubt. Hey, as always, guys, we do want to remind everybody we've got about 417, 420 in the live stream right now. We really appreciate everybody. Like, share, tell all your friends. But do want to remind everybody that if you are ever in a pinch and you need somebody to talk to, you can always call or text 988. We always want to remind you, 988, you can call anytime, day or night. The 988 Suicide Crisis Hotline is a place to get support for anything related to mental health, whether it's an immediate crisis, simply wanting to find out how to connect with care, or anything in between. 988 is 100% confidential, secure, and anonymous way to reach out for help when you don't know where else to turn. To connect, call or text 988 or visit mantherapy.org to get help. It's okay not to be okay. Well, boys, let's turn the page and look at tomorrow's matchup. We've got Nick Martinez going against right-hander James Talion. James Talion's 4-3.
James Tyone.
Tyone. Oh,
Yes.
I apologize. Thanks, Mike.
It's all right. You're good.
My phonics isn't great. I'm not going to lie to you, but 4-3 record, 3.86 ERA. Does pitch a little bit better at home than he does away. His home ERA is 2.67. Away from Wrigley, he's 4.96. So hopefully we could do something to jump on that home ERA tomorrow, man, and get things rolling. I did look at his last time out. Last time out, it was against the Rockies, so take that for what it's worth. But 6 innings pitched, 1 earned run, 7 Ks, and no walks. So seems to be throwing the ball pretty well. But hopefully the Reds can come out tomorrow and get us a win and get us a series win and get us out of Chicago. What do you boys think?
Yeah, it's interesting. So last year in the final game of 2024, he faced the Reds. So the Reds both teams were out of the playoffs at that point, but he went 7 innings, 4 hits, 0 runs, 2 walks, 2 strikeouts. So looks like that was not great, but active Reds against Tyone are batting .340 with a 1.001 OPS. So that's great, right? Let's see. Friedl has 2 home runs. He's 4 for 13 with 2 home runs. Steer is 4 for 13 with a home run. Stephenson is 5 for 9 with a home run. Benson is 3 for 8 with a home run. De La Cruz is 2 for 8 with a home run. So
you're getting me excited, brother. Let's go.
I think we're going to be driving the ball out of the ballpark tomorrow. That's what Espinal is only 3 for 15. So maybe that's, I hope we don't see him in the 2-hole tomorrow. But, I like what we can do here. Like this is a 220 tomorrow. Hopefully the wind isn't blowing straight in our face. And it would be really, really nice to see the bats bounce back after all this, especially because Nick Martinez has been pretty good against the Cubs. Like in the last 2 seasons, he's thrown 20 innings against the Cubs, 0 earned runs, 0 walks, 14 strikeouts. So, Nick Martinez doesn't walk very many people, hasn't recently as well. And that has been so great. He's gone 6 straight starts with going 6 or more innings, which is also great for our bullpen and how well the Cubs seem to hit our bullpen. So if we've got it set up here, I feel a lot better about this matchup against Tyone here, and it would be great to win a rubber match. Because what do we have that stat? How many times? I know we have the infamous stat of losing the first game, not being able to win the series, but I feel like we're not very good in rubber games either, even when we do win the first game of the series.
Yeah, I don't have the stat right in front of me, but I can't imagine it's going to be great, especially facing the Cubs, who have already won 5 straight series. So they know how to cap it off, and we're really struggling with that. But we need to turn that around right now. It's kind of almost every game is a must-win with the Cincinnati Reds. So stop me if you've heard this one before, but let's try to get a series win and get back to 500 and get this ball rolling again, because we've got to get going.
I heard an interesting quote from other fellow pregame host Hunter Hurst. I understand we all get bent out of shape. Nobody was more angry than I was at the putrid offense that we saw today. But I think he said in one of his pregames, he's like, World War II was a must-win. This game in Wrigley. I think the world will keep spinning if we don't win this one. So let's put that into perspective. Nobody is more emotional than I am about my Cincinnati Reds. And but remember, this is still a game that we all love, and they're right there today, right? A couple bad bounces, and we're still watching the game because we're in extra innings. So we're right there, and I think that we can go out and win this series. If we can go beat the first place Cubs, that's some great momentum going into the Brewers series.
Absolutely, especially if we can get one past the Cubs and past the Brewers. Now we're really talking. So it'd be nice to catch some momentum here going forward, Ricky.
Yeah, we need Nick Martinez to be what he's been his last 6 or 7 starts. He's been lights out. 7 innings versus Kansas City, 6 versus Pittsburgh, 7 versus the White Sox. He's got an ERA at 2.27 in his last 7 starts. So if he can keep doing that, and our offense can perform well against Jameson Tyone, I'm here for it. We need to end the rubber match debauchery of what it is. It's just been terrible. We need to get that up. We need to get that streak ended. We need to end the streak of losing the first game of the series. We need all of it. We need to get all of it and just get a fresh start, and then we're good.
Absolutely, boys. Let's hope the guys are coming back tomorrow night. Nick and Trace will be on it here at 9:00 tomorrow night, talking about a Reds win and a series win and back to 500 and getting the heck out of Chicago for a little while. So I won't be sad to not have to face this lineup on a regular basis. These guys are pretty tough. So let's get out of here with a win and get going, man. Any final thoughts?
Just go Reds.
Go Reds.
Yes, sir. Let's do it.